Herald-Times sports editor Chris Korman here, after an Indiana game, an exhibition game.
Yeah.
Having some good bantering with...
some ridiculous stuff.
Yeah. With J.D. Campbell, the man.
And Hutch.
Terry Hutchins. Anyway, Dustin Dopirak, Indiana beat writer. His second experience of this young basketball season tonight. Indiana wins. What was the final? 95-67 against St. Joseph's. Not really much of a contest at any point. Indiana just kind of ran away with it, literally from the beginning. Indiana just really pushed the ball today. They were so quick on offense, and everybody really looked to get the ball up the floor quickly and spread the scoring around a little bit. Ended up, Creek had 16, Rivers 15, Jones 15, Watford 13. Rivers and Jones also really effective in transition. 5 assists for Rivers, 3 for Jones. Just a pretty solid game, I think, going into the start of the season. What stuck out to you most?
Well, they definitely looked a lot more comfortable and a lot better. I mean, it looked like they took a lot from the first game, got a lot of sort of the jitters and the kinks out. I mean, obviously, this is still a extremely long way from being a finished product, but I mean, they were able to blow out an inferior opponent today. Basically, I mean, they obviously were talented enough to beat Grace worse, but it was one of those cases where they were still kind of feeling each other out, just figuring out what it was going to be like to play somebody else other than themselves, and looked kind of shaky there. And then today they kind of came out and looked like a team that, should be able to beat a team like Grace by 30 points.
And it's a very significking game, which is weird to say, but that's where we are with Indiana. We have those moments. You and I talk about them all the time. Yeah, it's there's things that you would never think of being important to an Indiana basketball season. They just are now.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. You weren't here last year, but I cannot think of many times that Indiana, even for spurts in games, really exerted itself and said, this is how we're going to play. You deal with it.
Dictated the situation.
We're going to dictate, and you guys can slow us down or stop us. And if you do, kudos, you win the game.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened tonight. Crean, I thought it was interesting. He said in the game, you guys don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. The players don't know what's going to happen. But at least we sort of know now what they're going to try to do. Yeah, and I think it's
some idea.
I think it's a very interesting gamble on Crean's part. A very interesting way to go. He wanted to recruit more athletic players. He wanted to bring in more skilled guys. He figured year 2, a whole year recruiting, be able to do that. Has the top 10 class, and he's just going to push them right away, man.
Yeah.
He's just going to say, "You guys go out and win it." And I think it's an interesting thing, because young players, they're prone to emotional sways, and teams that run, they're prone to quick mistakes or quick errors and going back and forth. They can go on a run of 5 points on their own, or they can get down 5 points really quickly. And I think it's going to be really interesting to watch.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, especially once they get past these first couple. I mean, they obviously got this exhibition, and they start a couple teams that they should run all over, but then all of a sudden they go to Puerto Rico. Right. And that changes things a lot, because they go with an Ole Miss team that's...
They've got 5 games in 10 days.
Yeah. I mean right at that point, it's going to be like, okay, number one, how much can you deal with this? How much can you run? How much can you keep up? Because it sounds like also that Crean's not going to take it easy going into games of practice. I mean, he made it clear, I guess, that he didn't remember even when Michigan State was in the Final Four of having a practice less than 2 hours. I mean, you usually see it taper down a lot once you get to January and February. You start to see, teams getting out of there in an hour and 50, hour and 40, and whatever, and just kind of taking it easy so they still have their legs. And Crean says, look, we don't have time to do that. We have to keep running this team. We have to keep getting better every day, keep getting stronger every day.
It's not Tom Crean style, man. He's hardcore.
Yeah, that he is. So that's kind of the direction they're going to head. I mean, they're not going to play, they're not going to score 95 points against too many people. And, when it comes to Big Ten play, it's, it will slow down. They're not going to be playing 90 points all the time. You can't do that. It's not really possible, because people change their game. But that's the direction that they're going to head at least early, is they're going to try to run the ball and they're going to try to push it.
Yeah. And, one of the really interesting things, I think, is that it's a little bit difficult to evaluate some of the other players. Tom Pritchard, I think, was held to only 7 points tonight, maybe. Even fewer than that. 4 points tonight.
4 points tonight.
I mean,
2 for 3 from the field.
Fawa had 7. So, you know, and Pritchard played a fair amount, and afterward, Crean was asked if he thought Pritchard struggled, or, you know, Crean really went to bat for him, defended him, said that's not what's happening at all, but it was hard to really figure out where he fit, and Derek Elston had some explosive moments again tonight, and looked really good at times. I think he led the team with 8 rebounds, but it's hard to figure out where he fit. Jordan Holes, who looked so good the other day, has 5 turnovers tonight.
Right.
So, you know, and Creek didn't look good that first game, and
looked a lot better.
Looked engaged tonight.
Yeah, looked a lot better.
So it's really, you know, it's going to be an interesting thing, and we've been talking about it, just the evolution of this team and how it's going to flow. We got our first view of Baba Manuru tonight, and
there were some flashes.
Yeah,
there were some flashes. There were some things that were definitely impressive. I mean, Crean put it best. He says what you see from Baba is what we see from Baba. You know, sometimes he'll fly in and he'll, you know, block a shot out of nowhere. Sometimes he'll uncoil and throw down a dunk, and sometimes he'll turn the ball over because he didn't go you know, at the basket hard enough. And you saw all that tonight. Right. Basically, you saw him a couple of real nice blocks. Obviously, the dunk just you know blew the roof off more or less. But you know, he also had a couple of times where he didn't look 100% comfortable getting the basketball.
Another guy tonight that we saw, I think, really trying to get acclimated. You know, the exact other end of the spectrum is Devin Dumas, who's played more basketball for this team than anybody. He's coming back. Apparently, this knee, he's got an inflamed knee, an achy knee. It's been bothering him all of most of fall, and has not practiced much. I guess came back for one practice. And Crean didn't throw him in until the second half. Dumas warmed up. We thought he'd get in, and didn't end up playing until the second half. And Crean said didn't want to throw him in there when the game was going too quick, and didn't want to overwhelm him. And Dumas came in and kind of stayed within himself. But he's obviously going to be an important part of this team. Was such an important part last year, both emotionally and scoring. You know, a lot of times that team ran out of sets and really tried to wait. You weren't, you know, but it was just epic, man. Every time they got the ball, they were waiting until the shot clock got down to 5 seconds
before they even tried to do
because they had to keep games close to even have a chance. And now it's a totally different offense. He said he's excited to be a part of it, but he's not exactly in game shape. And if this knee is a lingering problem, it's gonna be interesting to see how he fits in. And he's one of their better defenders too. So that's something we're gonna watch. Also, this week is signing day, and I thought it was really interesting how Crean
went straight to recruiting when he was talking about your question.
Yeah, we asked him, you know, if he sort of saw this team being able to run so much so quickly, and he immediately said, well, I know you didn't ask this, but with recruiting, we're in a hole, and we have to prove to people that we can get out of it, and we also have to prove that the way we're going to get out of it is to be fun, fast-paced, play the way that guys want to play. You know, and you can say what you will about the AAU circuit and whether or not it teaches great fundamentals or whether or not an Indiana team should play that way. Bob Knight certainly didn't. But, you know, Crean's clearly looking at, hey, let's get some athletes in here and let's let them go run and go win that way. So I think it'll be interesting. What do we expect for signing day this week? Let's give an early preview of that.
Well, obviously, I think, you know, the one guy that's definitely going to put pen to paper is Victor Oladipo. Right. That's pretty much a lock. He committed about a month and a half ago now, something like that. Yeah. And he looked, you know, when he was here for Hoosier Hysteria, he was just beaming. I mean, he had already committed long since by that point. But I mean, he was taking pictures of everything and stuff like that. So
he was. Yeah.
He was just all over the place. Yeah. So it's pretty much, you know, I'd be.
So what can you tell me about David Williams?
Now after that, what can we say about David Williams?
I don't know. We gotta figure that out.
That's you know, that's up and I don't know. I mean. It'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Right, Williams has really committed. Williams, a forward, a small forward from Florida, been committed for a while. You know, a little bit unclear on what he's going to end up doing. You know, things change. It's recruiting.
Right.
You know, this team has changed so much. Gosh, I've been here 3 years, and there's 6 new guys each year. And obviously, they're crazy circumstances, but
you know. The other guys to talk about, I mean, Will Sheehy obviously visited this weekend. He said he liked everything. He said, you know, he's going to sit down now. And
he's another Florida wing.
Yeah, Florida wing guy. So he's trying to figure it out. I mean, I think there were some people that probably thought he was going to commit because he doesn't have quite the amount of offers. But he didn't yet. He's sticking that out. And, of course, the 2 big guys that they're involved with are Josh Selby and Jelon Kendrick. And those guys definitely are pushing into the spring, they've said. pretty much a lock that he'll be there. But Josh Selby is going to be in town this coming weekend. He is making his Indiana visit. Still has 3 more to go after that.
Well, Crean will keep pushing for those guys. There's no doubt about that. They'll wait for the spring for players like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cannot wait. We have to get out of here.
Yeah, we do.
Thanks for being here. Talk to you later.